Wow, that's a large house. I didn't think we'd get that. Congratulations, Sunil. You got the crowds. Yeah? Thanks.
Thank you. I don't know whether I got it, you
No,
got it, or,
got it. It's your book.
JLF got it, actually.
It's your book. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how much you know about the book or about the session. They've told you something about Sunil. I'll tell you a bit about the book, though he's probably the better person to do that. Sunil and 3 friends of his have over the years gone to many, many restaurants in India. Now, many of us go to restaurants, but these guys took it seriously. After each meal, they would come back, they would write about the restaurants, and they would give marks to each restaurant. It seems a slightly nerdy thing to do, but they really got into it. When they met, they usually talked about affairs of the school. They were unfortunate. This is a school in Dehradun, right? So, yeah. Doon School or somewhere. So they would talk about that because they were all running this Doon School Old Boys Association. So the book is conversations that they had about the restaurants, about the school. And when he decided to publish it, he decided that wasn't enough. So he's interspersed it with articles by some of India's greatest chefs, some of India's greatest restaurateurs. So if you read the book, you get Sunil and his friends, and you get their sense of what the restaurants were like. But you also get the biggest names in the restaurant world. And what you effectively get is a history of fine dining in Delhi. Is that fair?
Quite, yes.
Yeah?
It's actually an anthology, literally, of Delhi and eating out.
What made you do it? I mean, why would you come back after each meal and sit down and write a review?
So there was no grand plan, Vir, as I told you when we met, about writing a book or publishing a book. It was literally conversations amongst 4 friends who had this common connect of the Doon School Old Boys Society. And many of the conversations are actually about school and about the DOSCOs. But we found it was an interesting exercise to try and rate not just the restaurant, but each dish, the service in the restaurant. We even went to look at what the loos were like, how they functioned. And that was a bit of a holistic view of the restaurant. And in the early days, we even wrote about, would I go back to this restaurant or not? And somewhere along the way, we actually forgot to do that. But the rating was an exercise to try and look at this in a more intellectual manner, in a more holistic manner, rather than just have a fun meal, which they were. They were fun because when you get together as 4 friends, and sadly, as you know, we lost one of them a few years ago. Deepak Nirula, who actually brought the very concept of the modern eating out in this country. He's the one who brought hamburgers and pizzas and the 21 flavors of ice creams to India. And then he did the same thing with Indian food. Right. So most places we would go, Deepak would get recognized as somebody who has trained the chef in that restaurant, or the owner has trained under him, and that added a further twist. So we said we will not inform people when we go, before we go, because we started getting requests, let me know when you're coming to my restaurant. So we thought it would not be quite fair to have a prepared restaurant to go to. So even when we went to people we knew, we tried to do this as a surprise, and we would normally book the restaurant under Nitin Kapoor's name, who would probably get less recognized than the other 3 of us.
Yeah. And you would pay your own way every time?
Always. In fact, that was one principle we adopted, that we will not take a free meal, and these were offered more than once, as you can imagine. What we did do on 2 occasions that I can remember, we took 1 free dessert or 1 free ice cream, and that was it. But all of the meals were paid for, and paid for at the regular tariff. Otherwise, it's not quite a fair assessment of the restaurant if you're taking a free meal.
But that's important, because many people now who write about restaurants, particularly with the influencer culture we have at the moment, are people who are invited, never pay. And people who do it as journalists and pay, they get their bills reimbursed by the organization they work for. So there's virtually nobody who does this with his or her own money, right?
I don't know.
Yes,
you're the expert, so
it's true,
you would know. But again, we said to keep it fair, we would do this by rotation. So one of us paid for each meal by rotation so that every fourth one was paid by the same person again. And that also became like a principle of how you approach this in an even, balanced manner, so that what you're doing is, in all fairness, the absolute right thing to do.
And would you all come back and write individual reviews, or would one of you be the designated writer?
No, the reviews in the early days were written by Deepak Nirula, but the view was everybody's. The view would be taken on the table itself while we were in the restaurant. We would discuss each dish that came, what the view was. And sometimes, and I don't know if, well, some of it is in the book, sometimes there was a difference. You felt the dish rated 7, I felt a dish rated 5, so we would actually negotiate to say, can we rate this at a 6 or a 6.5?
And how many of them are Delhi reviews and how many are other cities?
So this book is completely and only about Delhi. So all of the restaurants in the book are from Delhi. We have had a couple of lunches outside in Goa and London and some other places. But this book only covers the Delhi restaurants, and it does not cover all of them.
So is there a second book coming with the others?
I don't know about that yet. But we've done 75 lunches right now. This book went into print when we had done 73.
Yeah.
It's actually going into reprint tomorrow as we speak.
With 2 more reviews?
With the 2 more. It may not have the reviews, but we'll have the mention of the 2 new restaurants. Incidentally, we've not covered all the 73 that we've been to. We've covered only 26 in there because of what you said. We also wanted to cover the conversations with chefs, with the top restaurateurs of Delhi. We also wanted to look at some of the history of some popular common dishes of Delhi, butter chicken, kali dal, chaat, things of that nature, because there's a history to all of these, how they came to be, where they came from, and why they are where they are today, why they are so important. And then we also got some of the recipes from some of these restaurants and put those in as well. So in a sense, it is a complete holistic view of the culture, history, and literally the fun one has on eating out in Delhi.
How many guys from Delhi in the audience? Put your hands up. Okay, so a lot of Delhi people. Tell us some of the restaurants you've been to that are covered in the book. And you tell me if you recognize them.
Interestingly, some of the restaurants we went to, which are in the book, are no longer open.
But
it's a history source. It is a history. So that is why we said it would be unfair to take them out, because they were there, they had a place, they were important. They didn't work for a whole variety of reasons. Financial failure, professional management, the cyclicality of the business, COVID, whole variety of reasons why some restaurants did not make it. So we went to, and we were quite democratic. We did not distinguish to say that we will only go to the 5-star hotels or the top-rated restaurants. We also went to Bikanerwala. We went to Anotai. We went to ATM. We went to the restaurants in Park Hotel and in the Oberoi Hotel. Our first one, incidentally, was Indian Accent when it used to be in Friends Colony at the Manor Hotel.
You know the story. There was a famous ad campaign about a guy who bought, I forget which razor company it was. He said he liked the razor so much, he ended up buying the company. This guy liked Indian Accent so much, he's now invested in it, right? You have.
Yes, but it was not when we went there.
Okay, it was later.
It happened
but tell us the names
later.
of some of the restaurants that people are likely to have been to.
So these would be obviously recognized. The Indian Accent, Bukhara at the... So the very popular, very well-known names. But as I said, we also did, and the qualities for the Chana Bhaduras, which is legendary. And again, we've added facts like why Peshori Lal Lamba started. He started serving ice cream to the American soldiers who were here during the World War II, and not here, in Delhi. And that's how Quality's ice cream started. He also started serving them, getting them bread and eggs in the morning. So the restaurant business actually started from a need which was felt by society at that time. some of that historical anthology is also in the book.
Yeah.
And we've tried to make each one real, which is why the conversations with the people. There are only 2 restaurants that we visited twice.
Which is that?
One was Indian Accent, first at the Manor Hotel, and second when it shifted to Lodi. So it was, while it was the same name, it was actually a different restaurant. Basil and Thyme at both its locations. And I think we went twice to the Oberoi, to the Travertino.
Okay. Which no longer exists.
Which no longer exists, yeah.
Do you remember what you thought of each of those restaurants offhand?
I do, actually.
Okay, so I'm going to ask him what he thought of each of the restaurants and he can tell us. What did you think of Qualities?
Outstanding.
Outstanding?
Yeah.
Anybody here been to Qualities? We agree with that? Outstanding, not outstanding?
But the loo was too far away.
Okay. Anybody had the Chana Bhatura at Qualities? Outstanding, not outstanding?
I don't imagine you could go to Qualities and
not have the
Chana
Chana
Bhatura.
Bhatura. Okay, so what else? There the audience seems to agree with you. What else?
Yep. So, the Indian Accent. Anyone
here been to Indian Accent? He's an investor, so more people put up their hands, the happier he is. Guys liked it? Okay, not that many hands I have to say of people who liked it. Huh? Okay, where else?
So, we went to Kamei. That was the last of the 73rd one. That's a new restaurant opened only recently in Delhi. I don't know how many.
At the El Deco Center. This is the one at the El Deco Center.
That's the one.
The Asian restaurant.
That
Anyone been there? Kamei? Okay. Liked it? Okay, so one person's been there, one person liked it. You're in good company. Go on.
So, so the whole idea.
No, tell me some more restaurants you went to. We have to put you on the spot here.
All right. Okay, let's say Burma.
Okay. All vegetarian. That was not a problem for any of you guys, no?
Yep.
Okay. And what did you like about Burma?
So it was unique. We went at a special time. They had a hand washing ceremony,
okay,
which was part of the festival that was ongoing at that time. And they served a tea leaf salad. I don't know how many in the audience would have had that. Oh, there they are. Now, it's
you liked it. She's going like this. Okay, all right. Yeah.
It's quite unique because you don't get those tea leaves in India. So they had to arrange to bring them from Burma as a mix to make it authentic. And sadly, the ratings of everything there were not so great on that day.
Yeah.
But part of the experience was very, very nice. So again, as
I was going to say that
yeah.
I've read the review, and these guys don't really like Burma very much. Yep. But you're praising the tea leaf thing, which means you actually went looking for things you could like and say good things about. So you went with a very positive bent of mind.
Yeah. So in each one, and we've tried to be quite objective. When there's something we didn't like, we mentioned it. When there's something we like,
such as
something in this very restaurant itself.
Yeah. Don't forget Burma. Somewhere else you didn't like something.
Yeah. So at Ariba, for example, now you cannot have a Mexican.
What is Ariba? Anybody been to Ariba?
No one.
Me neither. Go on. Yeah.
So it's a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
Which ran out of guacamole. So how could you have a Mexican restaurant which cannot serve you guac? So we have had such experiences as well, and we have written about it.
Bukhara, have you been? Did you go to Bukhara?
We went to Bukhara.
What did you think?
So the beauty of Bukhara is the consistency. That if you order a family naan, it will always be 4 feet by 5 feet 3 inches. That is almost a piece of furniture. Actually, it's so large.
But did you like it?
But we actually rated down the dal because on that day,
the world's most famous dal, you rated it down.
Yeah, Ajay specifically said there was not enough butter in it that day. So it got rated. Well, rating was still 9 on 10, but it got rated down. It didn't get a 10 on 10 as some of the other dishes that day, because we have rated 11 on 10, and some places we even rated 12 on 10.
Was there any place you didn't like at all, except for this poor Mexican guy who didn't have guacamole? Anybody else?
The overall experience, again, I don't want to run down because
It's in the book, yeah? You can tell the truth.
Very much in the book,
So
yeah.
you can tell us.
So the Burma experience, even
Yes.
though it was our 50th lunch out, was not such a great experience.
All right.
And we gave the feedback to them, incidentally. And they took it quite nicely, I have to say. We did not always share the reviews, but when people asked, because very often they saw us writing notes, so sometimes they would ask us for a review, and we did send it back to those who asked. We didn't offer it
What else did you
voluntarily
What
ourselves.
else did you not like?
So the experience at the Oberoi the second time, we did not like.
That is Travertino? Or?
Yes.
Travertino was an Italian restaurant run by
Yes.
the Oberoi in Delhi in collaboration with the Asler Hotel of Rome, right?
Absolutely, with the Hassler in Rome.
Why didn't you like
which
it?
is a great. So two things went off. Service was not good that day, and
You
one of
guys didn't get good service. So what happens to the average customer then? Go on.
and one of the dishes was completely off. It was not what was ordered.
Yeah.
So these kind of things happen in many places. And again, as I said, in all honesty, we recorded our complete experience of what you found. We've had occasion, I'm trying to remember the name of this restaurant, in a market in Chanakyapuri, where Ajay had to order coffee 3 times because each time the coffee came in cold.
Oh dear, okay.
Yeah. So you cannot be served coffee and it is
so
not piping hot.
Enough about the restaurants. Tell us the most memorable dishes you had at these restaurants. Things that still linger in the memory, you can taste them almost.
So some are the very obvious ones.
No, that's okay, tell us,
Yeah,
even if they're obvious.
So it's a chana bhatura at quality.
Okay,
it
Chana
is-
Bhatura
it-
qualities, we're all agreed. Then,
It is Daulat ki chaat at Indian accent.
anybody had Daulat ki chaat in Indian accent? Anybody had it outside, even if it's called Malayo, Makhan Malai, Nimish, it's the same thing, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
Anybody had both the street food version and the Indian accent version? And was the Indian accent version up to the original? Yeah. One no, one yes. No or yes? No. So well, there you are. Investor, so you can take that.
Yes.
Yeah, then what else?
Yep. So if you look at how it evolved, let me just take 2 minutes on
Yeah,
that.
sure.
So if I look at every 2 or 3 year period, we saw a shift taking place. When we started, it's now 16, 17 years ago, in 2009, the best food in those days was mostly in the 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
They were the ones who brought in the restaurants, brought in the innovation. Eating out in independent restaurants were a rarity in those days. Of a high quality restaurant was a rarity. And we found that in the initial period, we were going to more European, Italian, continental kind of restaurants. 2 or 3 years later, we tried to shift it, do a little bit more Indian and more Asian. And we did find Asian. So actually, if you see the way the book is structured, it also kind of captures this, that about almost 30% of the restaurants are actually European.
Yeah.
In the book, I would say about 20% are Indian and / Asian. And we had the only one experience of the Mexican, which was not a great experience.
Yeah.
So by the time we were in about 6 years into this exercise, there was an absolute flurry of activity in the number and the kind of new restaurants that started coming up in Delhi. And you would know this better than anyone because you are really one of the most respected writers in this field, that Delhi today, not just Delhi, let me pick India today, has a very dynamic culinary art space almost. If you look at Goa, for example, you have some of the best eateries that have come up in Goa. Mumbai has had an absolute breakout kind of restaurants. Hyderabad has had some. So Delhi has got its fair share as well.
So I'm going to stop you and ask you, I think, what we want to know. You started out going to 5 stars. Now you go to a lot of standalones. Are standalones of the quality of 5 stars now? Are they still worse or are they better?
So there are many that are better.
Many that are better than 5
Many
stars?
that are better.
Do we
Yes.
agree with that? Do we think the standalone sector has come of age? How many of you would actually spend money on a 5-star hotel meal if you could go out and eat at a standalone? Nobody. Okay. How many of you, if you were offered a choice between a standalone and a 5-star, would take the standalone? Everyone. Would this have been true 15 years ago, or you think they've improved? If you think they've improved, put your hands up, the standalones. Okay. So the audience agrees with you.
Yep, clearly.
Yeah.
And you know, for us, it did not start off as only about the food. It started off as a conversation just for friends trying to catch up. So our going-in approach was not where we are today.
Yeah.
It kind of evolved over a period of time. Deepak had gone through a rough personal time, and we felt it would be nice to catch up over lunch, have a conversation. So Nitin, Ajay, Deepak, and myself, we decided that we would do this every now and then. So it almost became a ceremony every 6 to 8 weeks. And we did have breaks in summers, and we did have breaks during holidays. But other than that, we tried this regularly, except during COVID.
Yeah.
That was the only time we had a real long break. And the involvement with the food started off because of our conversations, first with Deepak, and then because all of us discovered that we were actually closet foodies, each one of us, in different ways. Nitin had set up a restaurant called Holy Cow in London some 30 plus years ago.
Right.
And because of the way he behaves, all his friends were getting freebies all the time. He ran the restaurant into the ground. It was a very nice restaurant.
Yeah.
And Ajay, of course, loves food, and so do I. So it was actually almost a sense of discovery of ourselves, which made this more engaging, more interesting.
Can I ask a slightly rude question? All of you are basically millionaires. Some of you, yourself included, are billionaires. So you would go to some poor Mexican guy's restaurant, and if he didn't have guacamole, you would give him a bad review. Did you feel any guilt about doing that?
So you read the book, right?
Sorry?
So you read the book, right?
I've written the foreword. I've not just read the book. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've tried to put it as nicely as possible.
That you have.
We have been fair, but objective, and we've not been rude. That we've not been.
That is true.
We've never been rude, but we have been reasonably explicit in what our experience was.
You've been straightforward without being nasty, yeah? And you've tried to find good in everything.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. That was the approach we had. And
But it is, a slightly curious thing. You don't think for 4 millionaires, stroke billionaires to go to a restaurant in Connaught Place and to come out and say, "Yaar, he doesn't have guacamole." You didn't feel that was odd?
actually, no.
No? Okay. Because you guys really got into it.
We were doing this in right earnest. It became like a mission after a while.
I was going to say that when you read the book, the one thing that comes through is that the fact that you guys were so rich, that you'd been to the best restaurants in the world, you kind of left that at the door when you went in. You just treated yourselves as ordinary customers. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that is the only way to do this.
Yeah.
Because if you have any other shadow as you walk in, then your perspective will be colored.
Yeah.
And that would come through in any way you express it, you write it, you talk about it, it would show up. Okay. And I think it was only fair that when we walk in as any customer. And we were any customer as far as the restaurant is concerned, because we'd never announced beforehand, we'd never asked for any favors. And as I said, the only time they were offered, we actually refused most times.
But like if you walked into the Oberoi, for instance, it's a fair assumption you'd be recognized, no?
Yeah.
Yeah? But
yes.
You're saying it didn't necessarily make a difference. The second meal at Travertino wasn't good anyway.
Yeah. There was an experience in part of it. Again, since you have read, you know that.
Yeah.
What we've said is, when within one lunch, you had good and not so good, you will talk about both. But you try and keep the not so good and in a neutral manner, so it doesn't appear as if you're being difficult or you're being nasty. So,
but there's another aspect to the book, which is, it's really, I mean, if you should read it. I'll show you a copy. It's basically, though it's not constructed that way, if you read it, you will get a sense of the whole restaurant scene in North India, certainly in Delhi, and how it developed. And one of the things you realize is that many of these people were essentially Punjabis. They were often Punjabis who came over with nothing after partition. They started restaurants. Many of them had come over just before partition, saw the Second World War, saw the opportunities, saw the GIs who had come, made ice cream, as you said about the guys in the lambas, put hamburgers and stuff like that on the menu, which is what these guys wanted, the American GIs. And from that, we developed a restaurant scene which didn't exist in India, only really in the second half of the 20th century, you know?
Yeah. So I would broaden this a little bit. If you look at most of the successful large business in North India, many of them were actually set up by refugees.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is also a global phenomena. When people leave their homes and everything they have behind, they have a point to prove to themselves and for their families.
Yeah.
The first attempt is always to be able to provide, but then they normally go well beyond that. And that's reflected very well in the restaurant business in North India.
So that's a classic example, isn't it?
Yep, very, very much so. But it is so across many business verticals.
Yeah.
Not just in the restaurants, but in the restaurant it's quite clear and obvious. If you pick all the top names, many of them are Punjabis who came from across the border. Their homes became a foreign country. So they literally left everything.
It's not strictly germane to this book, but given that you're a Punjabi also, what is it about Punjabis that made you guys so successful even after you'd lost everything?
As I said, I'm not sure it is only the Punjabis.
So it is.
If you see,
in India, it's been Punjabis
in India, it is because they were the largest section of the population that were refugees.
Yeah.
We did have refugees on the east too, in the Bengal side, but the ones who came to North India from what became Pakistan did truly come through a most tragic. It was the bloodiest migration mankind has ever seen on the planet, by the way. So it was a rough and a tough time. So I guess these people were trying to rebuild from a very, very difficult place. So the drive and the motivation was higher than you would normally have when you start a normal business, I guess. So
and a restaurant is about joy, no? People come in, you're hospitable, you're warm, you make them feel good, you give them good food. And the irony of people who'd seen their families murdered, people raped, who'd come away carrying nothing on trains filled with corpses, they settle down and then they spread joy. That's very poignant when you think about it.
So the typical form of Punjabi entertainment or Punjabi hospitality, I like to tell our friends when they come from overseas, our hospitality is we will kill you with the food. I mean, that's normal and typical of any Punjabi family.
Yeah.
So you keep up forcing people to eat until they have no more scope. And then you offer some more after that. So it is, you're right. It is, and food is seen as wholesome entertainment.
Yeah.
It's a place for conversation, it's a place for joy, it's a place for sharing, it's a place for families to sit together. When we were young, I mean, I learned most about business sitting on our dining table between my dad and my uncle.
Really, yeah? Food was important for your family?
Yep, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So, and the meal time was a conversation time. There were no cell phones, nobody was diverted to a screen or looking at elsewhere. So the conversation was, you were actually talking to each other, not at each other.
Okay, and I've noticed that every time I refer to you as a billionaire, you flinch. So I'm going to keep at that. So, you've traveled the world. I mean, you came in from Dubai last night to do this event and flew in just to do it. Tell me about the global food scene. Where do you think the best restaurants are?
So it's interesting. There's actually a shift taking place globally right now.
Okay.
I've just come from Dubai, as you mentioned. In Dubai has some of the best eateries in the world right now. And you find that some of the very same restaurants that exist in New York or in London have also set up in Dubai. The one in Dubai has a different menu. I shouldn't say different, has a better menu and higher prices and gets away with it.
Yeah, why?
So Dubai kind of seems to have become a magnet for the wealthy from many parts of the world. You've had people migrate there from Russia, from Israel, from India, from UK, from Germany. It's just become a pretty amazing magnet because they have provided infrastructure of the kind you rarely find, where everything works.
It's also completely international, no?
It is. It's a very cosmopolitan place. It's probably more cosmopolitan now than the UK is.
Yeah.
UK was the most cosmopolitan place in the world. And this place certainly appears more because locals don't work. All the work is done by people who come from outside.
In fact, the only Emirati you will meet probably is the guy who stamps your passport when you enter.
True.
After that, it's just people from all over the world.
Yep. So
now, if I was to ask you to recommend one city in the world for people to go and eat, would it be Dubai?
Florence.
That's one cuisine, yeah. How many great Chinese restaurants are there in Florence?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, but it has absolutely wonderful restaurants, whether it's a small, two-table restaurant, or it's the entire 2 decks of a floor in a place. So it has amazing restaurants, but you're absolutely right. It is mostly Italian cuisine, but it is not only Italian cuisine. Dubai does have the advantage that you can find a fantastic Japanese restaurant right next to Mediterranean one, and then a Chinese one after that. So it is truly one of the most unique places in the world today in terms of eating out.
Dubai has the world's only 3 Michelin star Indian restaurant. Do you go out to Indian restaurants a lot when you travel?
Actually, I don't.
Why? Because you eat it at home.
Yes. So my preference is to not eat out at an Indian restaurant if I can help it. It's not as if I've never been. I do go to them. But that's not my first choice, because the idea is if you're out, you try both the local cuisine or you try something which is not otherwise available to you. So the last 2 restaurants in London which have become favorites is a restaurant called M. Sharif. It's a Lebanese restaurant started by a housewife because she was making very good food for her friends. And now she has, I forget the number now, either 16 or 26 restaurants, which she has a whole team running, and her daughter's become the MD and CEO.
What's the second one?
So the second one is called Clap. There's one in London, also one in Dubai again. There's Japanese cuisine. But there are these unbelievable choices out there right now. But since you spoke about Indian restaurants, so Jamawar in London is doing a very good job.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
And, New York is another place which has started to get some outstanding new Indian restaurants.
Have you been to Sema?
So not yet. That's on my list now. Next trip.
Next trip. Okay, now that I've got the easy part, which is foreign restaurants out of the way, tell me about India. If you were to pick the great food city in India, what would you pick?
So Bombay and Delhi, Mumbai and Delhi are 2 places which I think have some of the best eateries in the country.
Yeah.
But within Delhi, if you mark out Gurugram separately, it is now starting to get some of the really innovative new restaurants. Very, very good stuff happening there.
Delhi plus Gurgaon or just Delhi?
Delhi plus Gurgaon, but I'm saying if you were to mark them separately, I would say Gurgaon is getting more new eateries than Delhi.
Yeah, but crap on the whole. But no, that's a personal opinion. But if you had to pick between Delhi and Mumbai, what would you pick?
That's a difficult one.
That's why I asked it.
Yeah, you're right. It is a difficult choice to make. For me, Bombay has more unexplored restaurants than Delhi. So I would pick Mumbai only for that reason. But I think both of them are doing a bang-up job in new restaurants opening. Literally, almost every month you find something unique has opened. And each one has something new to offer as an experience. And plus, it's no longer only about the food.
Yeah,
it's about the overall experience.
Do you go to Bangalore much?
Not so much.
Okay, let me ask the audience.
Yeah.
Top Indian food city, I'll give them to you in order and you can put up your hand. Bangalore, how many people? Okay, not so many people from Bangalore in the audience, clearly. Calcutta? Not so many people from Calcutta, a lot of bongs in the audience. Okay. Mumbai? Okay. Delhi? Is this because you're all from Delhi or genuinely? Genuinely. So you're right. So Delhi is like catching up, no?
It is. And there's a little bit of a scramble because Delhi kind of seemed to have got left behind.
Yeah.
So it's now making a big effort to catch up, in fact, to build the premier eating out culture.
Okay, so he's talked about not eating Indian food when he goes abroad, which makes sense. But I'm going to ask you this. If you guys were going out for dinner and spending your own money, and you could pick just one cuisine, what would you pick? Let's start with Chinese. How many people? Not a lot, huh?
I'm actually surprised at this.
Yeah, not a lot. It's
because
interesting.
that used to be one of the most popular Indian eating out for Indians was Chinese.
Yeah. Thai food, more than Chinese, marginally. Italian. Okay. French. Okay, that surprised me. At least somebody put their hand up. Have I left out anything?
Any Austrian cuisine? Anyone here? Oh.
We're coming. Okay. I'm going to do two. I'm not going to do Japanese because it's complicated. So let's do sushi first. How many would go out to a sushi restaurant? About 8 times the number that would go to a Chinese restaurant. And how many would go to a Japanese restaurant that's not just sushi, but it's proper Japanese food? Wow, that's a lot. And the big one, how many would go to a South Indian restaurant? Okay. And a North Indian restaurant? Okay, I'm going to do that again. South Indian, put your hands up. Okay. North Indian, put your hands up. Who won? Which one?
I think it's North Indian.
I think you think, of course you think. I think it's sort of even.
They're kind of, yeah.
But if we'd done this 10 years ago, there wouldn't have been enough South Indian restaurants to go to. There wouldn't have been enough sushi places. Yep. There wouldn't have been enough Japanese places. It would have been all Chinese and stuff like that, no?
Yep.
So eating out is changing.
Yep.
Any predictions, given your experience of having done this book?
I think this can only grow because we are just beginning to see, it's like a wave at this moment. Yeah. We are beginning to see success in small standalone eateries, which was not the case till some time back. And that's a big driver because people see, now they're still experimenting with what size works, what location works. There's a lot of experimentation going on right now, but the formula is kind of getting set at this moment. And I think that's also driving some of this, the drive, that the economic success is in itself quite a big motivation. Plus, there are people who are genuinely passionate. If you see just the chefs who are in this book, the number of them and the kind of work that they have done, it is absolutely phenomenal. If you look at Diva, for example, now Ritu,
that's Ritu Dalmia, the chef owner of Diva, yeah.
She's like a celebrity for what she does.
Yeah.
In how thoughtfully she does what she does.
Do you like her food?
I love her food, yes.
Okay, so now I'll get you. Anybody else whose food you like?
Okay, now this is a tough one again.
Now that's where we're at the end of the time, so now I have nothing to lose by asking you this.
Yeah, so as I already mentioned, there are a whole bunch of these
names.
new
Names.
places
Names. Which ones do you like?
that I like. I like. I have not yet tried. But I've liked the Indian accent. I don't need to talk about the main restaurant.
And you don't need to talk about the ex-chef also because you got to go there. So no.
Yeah,
I know. I knew you were going there, but beyond that.
Yeah. So Hosa, the South Indian or the coastal food.
Yeah, you're an investor in that also.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, what is it?
Pick
on something where your money is.
I'm declaring my interest as well.
Yeah.
So I would still go to qualities, but I cannot go more than once in 6 months because it is.
I go once in 3 months.
Very okay. You're brave. You're braver than I am.
Yeah. No. The Chana Bhatura I'll go for.
Yep. So I think we have a completely two different kinds of people who go out to eat.
Yeah.
One is those who will only play safe, only go to a particular kind of restaurant, eat a particular kind of food. Then is a second kind, and my daughter is one of those, who would want to try something different every single time. So I have one advantage where I get the feedback from her. By the way, which we got in this book, the way we chose our restaurants was because all of us spoke to our kids, who actually seem to know a lot more than we do.
Through all of us.
Also tapping social media to look at what's going on. So Nitin's daughter Ruhi gave him names. My daughter Shefali gave us many of the recommendations. And then we did do, before going, we did do a little bit of homework to figure out, is it worth visiting this place or not, if we had not already been there.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting part of the choice selection process. How do you get to it? Because the first bit was completely random. And as I was saying earlier, it is not a particular type of restaurant that we went to. And you notice I completely avoided your question.
I noticed.
So
the audience also noticed. So it's not just me. But listen, we're at the end of our time. So I just want to talk a bit about this book. Please get it. Initially, I think he was nervous, so he won't tell you this when he did it. He thought, who will be interested in just my reviews? And so he's got many great chefs, many great restaurateurs to contribute chapters. So it is really the most comprehensive history of dining in India. But I think this will surprise people. The most popular part have been the reviews you guys did, not what other people did. And this might seem like a rich man's vanity publication. So I just want to put it in perspective. He's done a first print run, which is sold out in how many days? In a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
In 2 weeks?
Yeah,
you're having to reprint the book?
Yes.
Yes?
Yep.
So in many ways, this is going to become the standard text, the book everybody will read when they wanted to know what dining in India, or certainly Delhi, was over the last 30 or 40 years. It's a really good book. I can't recommend it too highly, and congratulations.
Thank you. I have to say, by the way, that I'm not the only one who's responsible for this.
Yes.
I have two other authors with me, Ajay Shriram and Nitin Kapoor. It's the three of us did this together. And we dedicated this book to our fourth partner, Deepak Nirula, who sadly is no longer with us. So the book is dedicated to Deepak, but written by the three of us. And you're right, we did get a much better response. And I was surprised when you first told me that the best part of the book is the reviews. It, in our conversation, would have been the weakest part if you had spoken to us before we actually published the book. And the conversation about inviting other chefs and restaurateurs was not just to strengthen the book, which it was, but also to see how do you actually make a complete, comprehensive picture of what is eating out in Delhi. You can go to one place and write a full novel about it, as many of you do.
Yeah.
But if you want to look at a historical perspective, what's going on today, where it's going, how it's changed directionally, how financially these have become more valuable assets as businesses, how tastes have changed, how much more segmentation is done within restaurants, then it made sense to put all of this together. And that's how this came to be. And we couldn't call it only Table for Four because there are some others with the name. So we put the complete name, said Table for Four, Delhi's Dining Legacy, which it truly is.
And it's a book that everyone will read. It's not on sale here, right? You don't have enough copies. Is it on sale in the bookshop?
I think it is.
There may be some copies. Please go and look at it. I think you'll enjoy it.
It is.
You've been a great audience. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you very much, Vir.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate this.